eating?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey guys, so we just want to pop in and share our electrolytes stories.
Yeah.
I mean, this is funny because, you know, like if you don't know, I'm a doTERRA wellness advocate and have been for over a decade. And they recently came out with an electrolyte product. And, you know, electrolytes are like one of those things that always throws me back to Idiocracy.
I know, yeah. Every time you say electrolyte.
That's all I can think about. But they are all the rage right now. Everybody's talking about them everywhere. And I guess I didn't really realize what electrolytes even meant. And I think I'm just starting to really
I was thinking
kind of
it
understand.
meant Gatorade.
Right. And I think for, you know, probably the last 30 years, that is what it's meant. But anyway, so, you know, I've been researching. I've always felt this, like, little angst about the water, drink your weight in water, drink half your body weight in ounces in water. Like, for me, that's always felt like it kind of makes me sick to my stomach. Like, my stomach is bloated if I drink that much. Like, it's just too much.
Well, and our kids, like, were, like, going for these giant water bottles because it was, like, kind of trendy. And they were saying it was for health reasons. And then I kind of pointed out to them, like, and this might offend you, and I apologize if it does, but...
I'm surprised he's going here.
No, I'm going here because I think it's a legitimate point. I will say that you run into a lot of people that
trying to lose weight.
That have giant, I wasn't going to say weight, just in general, not healthy, but have giant water bottles and they drink all the water every day. And
well, they say that it fixes everything if you drink.
Yeah, and they're like, you know, I'm drinking like 3 gallons a day. That's extreme, but you know, whatever. I'm drinking a ton of water every day.
It's like hydrate.
Okay, but like if that's really supposed to make you healthy, you've been doing that for a year and you don't seem any healthier. Yeah. So like it was kind of a red flag to me, and not only that, but like the inconvenience of each of our kids carrying a gallon water bottle is like, all right, guys, like you get in the car and it's like hitting you in the head.
They don't even fit in the cup.
Yeah, they're like they're buckling their water bottles.
And then they're spilling everywhere because they're just sitting them on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, look. So you know, honestly, our kids drinking water is like the least of the problems that we are dealing with our children. But I think that
a major one.
I think what it indicates, like just from you know anecdotal observation, is that there isn't really a correlation between people drinking water and being healthy necessarily. Like that's not always the case. And if you've been drinking water, maybe this is going to be an eye-opener for you and you're like, oh, okay, that's why it's not working.
I would like to caveat it with like if you were drinking 2 liters of Mountain Dew and then switch to water, I think you would see a difference.
From the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like Mountain Dew in the morning, water in the afternoon.
No, I'm saying like, you know, some people will say like I cut out all soda and now I drink water. And I will say that's a good idea.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. There are no, as far as I know, electrolytes or benefits to any sodas. I think maybe there was originally, and I think so.
Dr. Pepper.
Right. What I think that the important thing to remember is this is true of all nutritional things. Like everything you take in, it doesn't matter if you take a ton of it. If your body can't absorb it, it's not helping you, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that we can take in a ton of food and feel full, but we're still starving because it's not nutritional. And that's what's happening, I think, with water. And there's several reasons. One is because, you know, you're drinking chlorinated water, you're drinking fluoridated water, you're drinking waters that are filled with what's like the newest, latest, great, like the water conditioners that they put in.
Reverse osmosis.
Look, there's nothing wrong with trying to get good, clean water, but when you treat it in any way, you're compromising it in some way. And what our ancestors, our forefathers, whatever you want to call them, what they were drinking was mineral-rich waters from, you know, springs, or generally ferments and other kinds of mineral-rich drinks that were charged with, you know, whether it be tea or
kombucha.
Yeah, I mean, like
my ancestors drank lots of kombucha.
Like maybe very watered down wines, whatever. It would come with lots of different foods and nutrients inside of it. So they weren't drinking, you know, what we're getting from our tap water. Fortunately, we're not drinking that, or even what we're drinking from our well. Like it's just not. It's likely full of all kinds of other chemicals, hormones, and medications that are. It's known. Those things are just antibiotics. They're just known to be in our water.
The birth control that's in, like, they find that in almost all water.
Yeah.
Like traces of because everybody's flushing the birth control. I guess from
not sure
the
we're
urine.
doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it doesn't even matter. You don't have to flush. You're flushing
Yeah.
it when you, because it's
Yeah.
going out. Anyway, and so this is just something to be aware of. Like, our water sources obviously are tainted, and we need to do what we can to replenish and restructure our water. That's something that I think is worth looking into.
I was just thinking about the restructuring. That's like a hippie level we have not gone to, but I'm fascinated
I've looked
by
at it a lot. I just
I've
haven't
thought about
invested
it. Yeah,
into
right.
it. But anyway, there are a lot of things you can do with your water to make it more healthfully beneficial. I think copper is a really great option. Charcoal, obviously. Like, there's a lot of things that we can do to sort of mimic what nature would do if it had the time and the freedom to, like, not be tampered with constantly. But anyway, point is that most of the water that we're drinking is devoid of nutritional value at all, which is not what we would have gotten in the ancient of days, right? So we were really excited to try the product just because, like, I like having something on hand that isn't Gatorade for when somebody's not feeling well, or especially in the summer of North Carolina, we will go in afternoons and, like, I mean, I've definitely been dehydrated to the point of literal, what do they call it, a heat stroke. I've had that before.
Look, it's so bad right now that I literally wear my swimming trunks as my farm shorts. My mom came over, she's like, "Are you going swimming?" I was like
from here to the house.
in an indirect swimming called sweating so much that it's like I'm swimming.
Yeah.
So, right. I mean, I was reading an article about, like, you can actually test how much of your your minerals you lose on, like, a high sweat day. Like, a lot of these endurance athletes and endurance athletes are testing that so that they know, like, precisely how much they need to, like, replenish their electrolytes, like, on these long runs and things like that. But I think there's, like, this missing hole of people like us that are, like, homesteaders, farmers, everyday people that are
the layman.
Not the inside workers, but the outside workers that, really should be drinking electrolytes. I mean, I remember when I was working construction. Yeah. Their Gatorade was, like, nonstop. Like, everybody knew that they needed more than water, but it was Gatorade or Coke.
And I don't really know, other than, like, sugar and dye, what Gatorade has in it. Obviously electrolytes, but what specifically? Right. Are they natural? Are they synthetic? I don't know.
Do you know the origins of Gatorade?
Florida.
Yeah, originally the Florida Gators were passing out during practices in the college team. They were, like, all becoming dehydrated over and over again, and so they had, like, a chemist that created a compound to, like, keep them hydrated during the, like, Florida football practice season, and that's where Gatorade originated from.
Yeah. That's good to know. Yeah. Okay, so that leads us back to this product that we got, and we're like, let's try it, and now we're all hooked on it, and in the best of ways, because we're pretty big on supplements, natural food supplements, and all kinds of, like, healthful, beneficial things. But I think what this just fills in the gap that I didn't even know I had. And some examples of what I've noticed since we started using this product is, and it's it's full of trace minerals. They're deep sea ocean minerals. That it's also got magnesium, calcium. I should have brought up my, like, list to read for you, but and vitamin K in indirect proportion, in a way that, like, one helps you absorb the other. 4 kinds of magnesium. So if you've been looking to take magnesiums, this is a really good way to do that because you're absorbing it really, really well. It deals with things like migraines, things like aging, hormone issues. The magnesium, if you look it up, is, like, one of the things that many, many different disorders and dysfunctions trace back to. So it's really important to get a lot of that in your regular routine. But then it also has liposomal vitamin C, which is an liposomal. I don't know.
Oh, that's, like, the one, like, for COVID, they were saying everybody should take that.
Yeah, it's a highly bioavailable, and it directly it impacts your immune system in a very powerful and potent way. And there's also a Baobab tree extract, which helps your cells actually intake all of this hydration, and ginseng, which is the other element that I'm really excited about, because if you study ginseng, it is just an incredible tool for energy levels and in a super natural and not spiking your energy in the way that caffeine does. So that's actually one of the major things that I've noticed since I started taking it. here we are at 2:00 in the afternoon, and even though I'm actually really hungry because I haven't eaten lunch yet, I'm not dragging and like sort of panicking, ready for my second cup of coffee.
I will say that's been one that I was not really a fan of, is we've cut out our afternoon coffees. I enjoy sipping on something.
What's the ritual?
Yeah, the ritual. But I feel like we've made it through the hump. And instead, I try in this time of day, which is like generally when I'm coming inside, because I try and get inside by the heat of the day. I will just drink this instead, the electrolyte drink.
Well, and one of my struggles has been thyroid. Like, I've just been really trying to heal my thyroid from a myriad of different problems that I was doing. A few of those are, one, I would essentially not eat until I was starving, and so then I would eat like a tiny amount and not be hungry anymore, and then it was just this really bad pattern of not, so in the morning I would drink coffee and sometimes eat breakfast, generally not, and then not really eat until about 2 when I would be so starving that I'm like shaking, and then not enough protein, lots of things. So I essentially, over the last 20 years, that was my routine. And then, you start to realize you're having adrenal fatigue and you're having thyroid problems and you don't know what to do. And so it's a process of healing and turning everything back on. But one of the major side effects of that is feeling this low drained energy. And I have some, working theories, because I'm hearing more and more women at younger ages dealing with this energy loss. And I think a lot of it is outward.
External influences.
Yes, external influences. I think EMFs is massive. I think our exposure to Wi-Fi is massive. And I think, these are things that have been upping and upping over the course of the last 100 years, from just electricity itself, and then on to, obviously we have the Wi-Fi now. I mean, it just and how those electronics have
the Wi-Fi.
Had the
We've
Wi-Fi.
had Wi-Fi for a while.
The Wi-Fi, the 5G, the 3G, all the things, it just keeps getting amped up. And I think we're all feeling the impacts of that. And hydration is like a shield for our cells. When our cells are weakened, they actually they're weakened in every way. And so what this it just is amping up our cellular energy in a really potent and powerful way. And so that afternoon slump has all but gone now for me. And that's actually massive, because the majority of the time that I've been doing this daily, taking this drink daily, I drink it in the afternoon. And it's been through the heat, the hottest part of the year.
Yeah.
Which is when I generally feel the most like I want to take a nap.
It makes me wonder what it's going to be like during the winter. I was just thinking about...
you won't need to hibernate.
Yeah, well, no, I was thinking about with livestock. So, we've talked about it before, but a lot of people put salt licks out for the livestock. And this guy, Steve Campbell, did this whole study on salt and bioavailability for cattle, and found that, if you put a salt lick out, it's like something... These numbers are rough numbers. Don't hold me to the exact number, but it's something like 5% bioavailability for a salt lick. Which means every time the cow licks it, the amount of salt that they get, that their body can absorb and use, is about 5%. If you put out loose salt, it takes it up to around 20%, 20 to 30%. They eat the salt, and then their body can absorb that. And we use Redmond sea salt. So it's very similar to the product that, in the fact that
I actually was doing an adrenal punch sort of thing before, and that was one of the key ingredients.
Sea salt.
Redmond sea salt.
Yeah. But then Steve Campbell found that if you took the salt and actually made what he calls a salt tea, and made that available to the cows, so that it's essentially salt water, they have an 80 to 90% bioavailability for that salt water. And you actually see direct results of their fur health is better, their fertility is better, their absorption of forage is better. The list goes on and on. But
it was really
it's really I know for us, we put it out at our lease property, and they started eating forage that they had never even thought about eating before, because their body, their rumen became balanced in a better way, and they could absorb nutrients from things that they couldn't absorb before. And it just makes me think about, for us as humans, it's got to be the same. When you're eating these vegetables or high quality foods, your body is in a better balance to where they can absorb, your body can absorb more nutrients out of these foods. And that's just been this
isn't
kind
it
of
interesting too,
epiphany.
because you think about the way that salt works, really, and it, we just recorded a tanning episode, so you're going to get to listen to that too. But salt is used to absorb, especially in a koshering method of processing meat, but to absorb out all the blood, which is the life of the actual animal. And how interesting to think about how important that is. Salt of the earth, like salt is a critical and component to life, and that has been known, since the dawn of existence.
So
I think our current relationship has been so complicated because, again, we've gotten this processed salt, this iodized salt that we get from the grocery store.
And it was like in our childhood, it was like kind of villainized for a while.
Yeah, because it makes you unhealthy.
Right.
And what is it? I think it was blood pressure. They say too much salt.
Cholesterol.
One or the other. Anyways, so I think like it's just a really interesting idea that when you drink too much water, for like it actually is, now we know it flushes out a lot of the things in your body. It actually wipes out a lot of the good stuff. And you can be more dehydrated as a result of drinking water to the extent that they have been recommending for years, right? Like all of this is fun and we're learning, right? But the idea of replenishing that with, I was putting some Redmond sea salt into like maybe some orange juice or, something to try to make it palatable. What I love about this product is just how simple it is, and like I don't have to concoct something that's not something I want to drink.
Well, and it's got like all those extra things
plus
in
the
it.
bonuses. Yeah. And when you compare it to other products on the market, it's like outshining all of them. And there are several that are really good, and I know a lot of people are taking them. I've tried them. Element comes to mind. I think that is developed by a great guy who does great things, but I don't like it. I haven't tried all the flavors.
I've heard somebody else recently tell me they didn't like it.
Yeah. And this is much more like my kids want to drink, which, has its pros and cons, but, ultimately they need it, and I'm really glad. And Abraham is a result potentially of his accident this fall or this spring, has been a little bit more fragile, I think, than he normally is, and like kind of getting overheated and almost to the point of passing out a few times. And he'll drink this and immediately feel recharged, which ironically is the name of the product. So, but yeah, so it's just, I don't know, it's a surprising product. I was drawn to doTERRA in the beginning because of the oils that we offer that are, I could go on about that, but one of the things that has been, as they've matched me step for step and toe to toe in terms of my development and understanding of wellness. And I think they continue to lead the wellness industry and the products that they put out. And I'm just really excited about this one.
Yeah. And they're like, to me, it's always like the quality level. Like you can trust their quality level. They're not taking shortcuts. Like if they put the product out, they have the very best ingredients. Usually, I mean, from what I understand, always like the best labor practices and like all this, the ethics,
farming, the way that they source everything meets my criteria.
Also.
Which we tend to be a little bit on the snobby side about that stuff. So anyway, I'm excited to share this about you. I think, or about with you all, because I think many of you probably are in the same boat. Like, how do I deal with this particular issue that we get it all the time, people talking about how do I do it all. And I think we got to start with our own health, right? Like, first of all, you can't do it all. You can do a lot, but you can't do it all. But second of all, if we're not feeling well, we can't do as much as we can if we're feeling well. And I would say that I'm feeling a lot better and getting a lot more done. And, I can't say it's all this product, but I did start taking this product, and it has been kind of side by side with my sort of getting out of a funk that I've been in for a while.
It's just kind of part of an informed self-help, health.
And I think too now, like and Drew was saying this the other day, is a lot of times we associate that slump in the afternoon with wanting caffeine, and generally that is more to do with your hydration levels than it is with your caffeine levels, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's just a quick and easy way to manage that.
Yeah. And listen, this is one of the ways that we make money, to be able to produce this podcast, to have the lifestyle we do, to put out the education that we do. So if it's a product that you're interested in and want to try, we would love your support. And we'll put a link in the show notes so that you can click there, and we earn a little bit of a commission out of it, and you get to have a better health because of it.
Look, and so many of our listeners are already doTERRA fans, and so I just wanted to encourage you. You have access to this incredible resource. Be sure you're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
thanks for listening.